welcome to Darwin Day Trips. Just going to have a look at a few little trips around of Darwin while I'm here. There's usually pink water lilies here when they're happening. At the moment, it's a good day. Please don't drop the GoPro. Yeah, I remember coming here in the late 80s and it was just birds everywhere, magpie geese and full of birds. Yeah, so I think it was in the 50s they built the dam wall because they were trying to get rice crops growing. And yeah, I think the water birds like those seeds too. They ate them all. There could easily be a crocodile just in there. It's what they use to dig up all the water lilies to clear the area. So just here at Fogg Dam Conservation Reserve, just out from Darwin. They're trying to grow rice in the 50s, and they brought in the buffaloes. Crocodiles. Yeah. Fogg Dam wetlands viewing area. See, a lot of that's churned up, I think, because of the water buffaloes in here. I've seen a water buffalo in here a few years ago. There's a crocodile in there a few years ago too. There's hundreds of ducks, I think they're ducks, on that bank just over there. So the signage there is saying that not only did the rice fail because of the magpie geese eating the grain, but not enough water in the dry season, too much water in the wet season. Apparently not a good water control scheme. So, it's got a really pointy head, like a really pointy nose. Yeah, there could be crocodile lurking just beneath there. They can come out pretty quickly too. Excuse me, what have you done with the buffaloes? You know those black things with the horns? This little boat ramp at the Adelaide River cruises. That'd be for safety, having some walls next to you rather than being out in the open. A big some crocodile. Berry Springs. Yeah, nice and cool in here. This is the bit I remember as a kid, these Berry Springs. This would be the actual springs here. And there's like a little dam or something they made during World War II. But there's so many people around that I won't be able to film it. Yeah. One down there. It's quite nice there too. People everywhere, so I may not be able to get to film much.
Yeah, I want to do it again. You want to come up there?
That's Berry Springs. Yeah, it's car park's quite full, and they do have signs warning for crocs, and it does say very low crocodile risk. An eagle's nest right up there. Down to Cox Peninsula. Gonna have a bit of a drive to Mandara, have a look there. But I'm in this area here. I'm just come to look at Milady, which is a World War II wreck site, a Liberator wreck site. So that's just through there. I've been here before. I don't know what the road's going to be like. I'll try anyway. Yeah, you got to watch these little rocks that stick up. That's what you got to watch. It's been a good little drive out here. Look at all the new growth. And the fires and everything. So this is the crash site of an American B24 Consolidated Liberator, Milady. Crashed 17th of January 1945, and all on board were killed. Six crew members. So this is the rear section here. This is where the tail gunner would be sitting, and it was a twin tail heavy bomber. It was one of the biggest bombers the US had during the war. It had a lot of range too. It could fly quite far. So I think they've probably moved some of the wreckage to here, just so it's all in one spot. But, yeah, pretty sad to think that, you know, they said quite a few aircraft were lost during their service in the Northern Territory. So just there's a vertical bomb rack, and this is part of the wing. You can tell this is part of a wing. Yeah, definitely part of a wing, and this looks like an engine mount. One of the engines. I think they were Pratt & Whitney 1830 engines, if I remember. Have to have another look on that, I think. Here's another part of the wing as well. That'd be the leading edge. And here's one of the engines. So we've got that in here. And this looks like all melted aluminium or something perhaps. And here's one of the wheels. Yeah, one of the wheels. And yeah, so you've got the wheel and part of the landing strut here. So part of the landing gear. So it's obviously gone through a lot of bushfires. It's the whole area wood. Yeah, so Milady. This is a photo of the wreckage scene shortly afterwards. So that's the tail, which is just through there. So this looks like the crew of Milady. Yeah, so Milady was involved in a battle. One of the gunners shot down a Japanese roof, which was a float plane. I mean, the Northern Territory is littered with World War II aircraft wrecks, Allied and Japanese as well. Quite a few of the reconnaissance aircraft from Japan went down. A lot of the Dyna aircraft. Another part of the wing, by the looks of it. Another part of the wing. Actually, this one from memory has the well for the undercarriage. I think that might have been, not 100%, might have been the well where the wheel would go in. And another piece of, don't know. But you can see the impact here where it's hit a tree when it came down. It's like the leading edge of a wing. This piece here is the upper gun turret fairing, the bit around the top here. This is the largest piece, the tail section. Yeah, it was part of the 380th Bomb Group, which was the Americans up here during the war. It says here in all 53 aircraft were lost by the 380th Bomb Group during its service in the territory, while 289 aircrew, some of them RAAF members, lost their lives. 23 380th personnel were captured and served as prisoners of war. And this is the plaque remembering the crew. Yeah, people have sort of gone and found a lot of aircraft, Allied and Japanese, and you know, some of them aren't sort of made public and some are, but a lot of them are quite inaccessible to get to. But yeah, this one, the track's, you know, more of a higher clearance thing. You do have to take it really slowly. But yeah, this is the wreck site of Milady. This dead tree stump, it's got the termite mound sort of growing in it. On the highway you see a few of the old fighter airstrips right down the edge of the road, Strauss and Sattler. I think one has the road built right over the top of it. One you can't even recognise. And then as you go further even south, there are airfields where the bombers were. There was airfields where they did repairing. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff around the area. Now I've got to get out. Oh well, that's the trip out to the Milady, the Liberator, and the car made it. Well, I've just made it to Mandara. Nice breeze coming off the water there. Yeah, so there's the jetty. I'll go and have a look at that. I think it's in here where the old pub and everything used to be. So yeah, it's just all nothing now. On the Mandara jetty. Darwin through there. Casino way over there. And that's where the old hotel used to be, I'm pretty sure. Just at the end of Mandara jetty there may be a ferry coming. Very windy. Could be the ferry. So there's Darwin and there's a casino there. East Point would be right over there. Yeah, all these rocks are so much colour when the sun's on them. I think this might have been where the old Mandara pub was. I don't remember, we used to come here as kids. A lot of rubbish around, beer cans and things like that. I don't think I'll go in, I'm not sure if I'm really allowed to be here, I'm not sure. But I remember, yeah, when we used to come here as kids, there was a concrete pool with a cyclone fence around it and they had a crocodile in there. So I mean there's a lot of old sheds and things. Oh, that's Mandara. I just missed filming the ferry. Yeah, so this is a World War II fighter plane airstrip called Strauss. So Captain Strauss was killed on a combat over Darwin on April 27. It says here he was a veteran of the Philippines campaign. So that's what the airfield's named after, Strauss, Captain Alison Strauss. And this here is Captain Bluey Truscott. He's a famous Australian fighter ace. So he was here as well. I think he was killed during practice off Exmouth in that area. And there's the runway here. And these are cutouts of some of the planes. This one here is a P-40 Kitty Hawk. And the next two further along are Spitfires. Yeah, so this is the one that's basically been left more intact than the others. Right, so I'm actually on the runway now. Yeah, so this is the Strauss runway, and there's the Stewart Highway there. Just in here are the taxiways to go to the revetments where they used to park the aircraft. So that's what these little things here, these little taxiways. It's a very bad sign now, but yeah, I'll have a little drive through there. Going into one of the taxiways now in the southern end of Strauss Airfield. Little sign here, I'll stop and have a read. So this looks like what's left of, it looks like yeah, bitumen, but apparently it was here where there was an alert shack. Well, the pilots, it says that they would wait long hours waiting to get the go to intercept some aircraft. During the war this was all fighter planes taxiing and taking off. There's the highways just through there, so they're all sort of in amongst the trees as camouflage. The revetments are the sort of the mounds they built up to protect the aircraft, but a lot of them are sort of up there. What's this here? That's a guard post. That's what that is, says there. It is a sentry post. Look at that top. I don't think I've ever seen those before. They obviously look like fuel drums, but not good at the top there. Yeah, there used to be, I think they refurbished one of the revetments, so they had somewhere, they had like the mounds were quite high, like a horseshoe shaped, and the big mounds, and the plane would sit inside in there as protection. But I don't seem to see any of those the large ones. I'm sure they had one somewhere. There's another one in there. So these would all be full of Kitty Hawk aircraft, and I think at times Spitfires as well. Looks like another sentry post. And here coming out at the northern end, so there's all the cattle trucks there from the big yard. So I'm actually going along the runway now, along the old runway, and it's got a few potholes in it now. So there's the southern end, just drove through, and here came back down. A lot of other places had workshops, and these guys had to fix aircraft basically out in the open. So then after the Kitty Hawks left, the Spitfires arrived. So here's some of the planes in amongst the trees. And here's a couple of Spitfires taxiing down those taxiways just went through. Well, that's the visit to Strauss Airfield. Like I said earlier, it's probably the most intact for people to look at with these cutouts. They're great. Yeah, they used to have a control tower set up too, I think, somewhere. Yeah, the Howard Springs Weir was built during the war, and I think, according to what it's reading here, while they were building Mandara Dam, which is south, they also developed this one as an extra source of water. And it says here, the marking of the Australian First Company AIF 1944 can be seen in the concrete. So go and have a look at that. I think that's just over here somewhere. The Howard Springs Weir, constructed in World War II. So we used to come here when we were kids. There used to be a little pool there. It's been filled in with a decking there. And I don't know if you can swim here because for years I've had the blue-green algae here. So no swimming. I'm bound to probably going to see a sign somewhere that says no swimming. Fish or something there. Oh, there's barramundi in there too. Yeah, so they had a pool in here. Yeah, a lot of, doesn't look good for swimming here. I think they're cudgeon, I think the sign said. Don't know if the camera will pick it up. Oh, there's some jiggerfish down there. Yeah, this would be hive of activity. When we were kids especially. Yeah, we'd be coming down here, and it was quite a big day out. Like Howard Springs now from Palmerston is just like, you know, a few minutes drive, but back in the day when the roads weren't as good and all that sort of gear, it was a big day out. Well, as a kid it was. So they have this tiny little toadlet called the Howard River toadlet, or little frog, very small, and has teeth, feeds on invertebrates. So that's apparently its proximate size. So there's my thumb, and that's apparently how big it is. And I've just got it bigger so you can see it. Poor little thing, looks like a cane toad. So this is how it got its name. William Patrick Ord. In 1865, explorer Pat Ord named the Howard River in honour of Lieutenant Howard, RN of the government survey ship Beatrice. European history of the springs began in the late 1800s when they were included in large pastoral leases. So as early as the 1920s, the springs came into focus, that's what I'm reading, as a solution to Darwin's unreliable water supply. So in 1939, a pipeline was set, and while they were still building Mandara Dam. So they built this, so yeah. There's the soldiers building the actual little weir, and there's the pipeline. So yeah, the soldiers would come here to the recreation area to help them beat the troppo. So there's a another photo of the weir, and this is taken in the late 1950s at Howard Springs. There's actually that little playgroundy thing there, and there's this long walk. So might even end up doing that. Yeah, there's like an adventure playground back there, but yeah, there's like kids everywhere. Yeah, they just don't seem to be able to fix this problem. There might be a little walk here somewhere. Might have a bit of a look-see at that. Anywhere that's in the shade. Howard Creek Walk. Quite often you come here and you'll see a goanna somewhere. This is just sort of walking around the Howard Springs Nature Reserve. Yeah, on the weekends it often gets quite busy with the locals in some of the places. It's often overgrown after a wet season, but yeah. It's the tropics. Just back at the East Point Reserve here. Just remember too, I'm at another brief movie location, if you're not already sick of movie locations. So this is where Michael Caton's character came towards the end of the movie Last Cab to Darwin. He came, I think probably was sitting on this rock, if I remember. There's like a little plaque here now. Darwin Rock Sitters Club. Rock Sitters. Established in May 1974. Became the first world rock sitting champion in 1977 with a 5-day rock sit. And in 1980 regained the world rock sitting record of 12 days following challenges from New Zealand, Victoria. Rock sitters continue the rock sitting tradition, meeting every Saturday at sunset atop the cliff adjacent to the old rock site. Oh, that's why I saw those fellas here that time. They were all here. That must have been what they were. They were rock sitters. Yeah. And yeah, that's I think this is where Michael Kalin is sitting at the end of that movie. Like that episode, don't forget the old thumbs up, the notification button and subscribe button. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Yeah, so at Michael.